Okay, welcome to this video then on Eric Birling for your In Spectacles GCSE English Literature exam question in the summer. We know it's the trickiest question because there's no extract, which means we need to know some quotes. You'll just get a choice of 2 questions in the exam. You need to know some quotes. If you don't use quotes, you'll struggle to talk about language and structure, those writers' methods, which are important if you want to climb to that grade 5 point on the mark scheme. Purpose of this video, 3 things. Number 1, some revision of Eric as a character. Number 2, knowing some key quotes. I will give you my top 3 and how to structure an answer that might help you to hit grade 5 on the mark scheme. So, who is Eric Birling? He's the son of Mr. and Mrs. Birling. He's more rebellious than Sheila, and we know he's a drinker as well. He's discovered to have stolen money from the business to support Eva Smith, which weirdly is what Mr. Birling seems to hold on to and be more upset and angry about than any of the other events in the play. We discover that he's the father of Eva's unborn child. Like Sheila, he learns a lesson and becomes frustrated that his parents do not learn that lesson. He's described by Priestley in the stage directions as being in his early 20s, in the same way Sheila was. Again, this is important because he's a younger character, he's more impressionable, and Priestley knows that in order for society to change, he needs to change the mindsets of the younger generation. He's also described as being not quite at ease, half shy, half assertive, which tells us that perhaps he's an unconfident character, but he's trying to find his place in the world as well. My top 3 quotes then. Number 1 is this: she was pretty and a good sport. I was in that mood where a chap turns nasty. In this quote, Eric confesses that he was physically attracted to her. We see this through the use of the adjective pretty. The phrase good sport is really interesting here. It implies that she went along with whatever he wanted. We can infer that Eric used Eva for his own sexual pleasure. We can also infer from Priestley's use of the adjective nasty that when Eric is drunk, he can become aggressive and forceful. He's using Eva for his own sexual desires. Priestley also alludes here to forced sexual contact, which paints a picture of how a patriarchal society can be incredibly dangerous for vulnerable women. And of course, Priestley's intention here was to educate the capitalist audience on social responsibility and looking after each other and equality and all those things. My second quote is this: you don't understand anything, you never did, you never even tried. In this quote, Eric addresses his father. He develops a degree of confidence and feels that he can talk to his father in this way, which would have been quite unexpected in Edwardian England. We see this through Priestley's use of the pronoun you. It also forms a triplet because we've got that repetition of an idea 3 times. You don't understand anything, you never did, you never even tried. There's a sense here of anger and frustration at his father's parenting. We get a sense of jealousy. Does Eric perhaps feel as though he isn't a good enough son? Mr. Birling acts quite sycophantically around Gerald earlier in the play and alludes to the fact that he was the son that he always wanted, perhaps over Eric. We also get that repetition of never, which is really important here to show that actually Eric feels as though throughout his entire life his father hasn't been a particularly good parent. Later on, my third quote is this one: Eric has already stood up to his father, he now stands up to his mum. Then you killed her, and the child should have had too. My child, your own grandchild, you killed them both, damn you, damn you. Eric realises here that his mother refused Eva Smith charity. We've got a declarative sentence in then you killed her. It's powerful, and the pronoun directs the remark straight at his mother. He's developed this confidence. And we see his frustration that actually she's unwilling to accept this responsibility and what she's done. We get a short telegraphic sentence in here as well, in fact several of them, less than 3 words, to illustrate the upset and the genuine emotion from Eric. He's fighting back, he's thinking about what to do, what to say next. He lets rip. Those full stops in there that break up the short sentences show that he's thinking, show that he's experiencing genuine emotion. The repetition of damn you as well is really important here. Because actually the connotations of damn are hell related. He expresses utter hatred and disgust at his mother. Talking to his parents in this way would have been really quite shocking to see as an audience. So how would that look as a paragraph then? We're going to stick to a what, how, why. Eric Birling is integral to the play because of the journey he goes on. By the end of the play, he has fully understood the inspector's message of responsibility and socialism. At the end of the play, he's angry with his parents. He's so angry that he finds it easy to confront them. Then you killed her, here's our quote, and the child should have had too. My child, your own grandchild, you killed them both, damn you, damn you. He addresses his mother directly. We see this through the use of the repeated pronouns. Eric's frustration and anger allows him to find his voice and confront his mother. Priestley's use of the short telegraphic sentences allow us to see Eric's upset. The pauses show him taking breath, thinking about what to say, and allow him to control his genuine emotion. He speaks slowly and confidently. The repetition of damn you is really significant as it carries connotations of hell, which allows us to see the extent of his anger towards his mother for refusing her charity. So what I would do now, have a little look at the other quotes, try and form a paragraph in the same way as I've done. You can find some resources on my website, mrcrawfordenglish.com/revision, and you can follow my Instagram as well for some daily revision updates and tips to revise, Mr. Crawford ENG. Plenty of resources online.